Hi everyone, my name is Kendrick, and welcome to ENFP Mail. Today I get to interview Stacy. So Stacy, welcome.
Hi,
So
good to
Stacy,
be here.
you were officially typed not too long ago, right?
Yes.
And what was your typing results?
Mm. So I am double feminine, Ne+Fi, consume, play, blast, sleep.
Consume, play, blast, sleep. Oh, you're sleep blast.
Yes.
When you got your typing results back, what did you think and how did you feel?
Actually, it was my almost 100% self-type. So I was like, okay, cool.
Oh, that was like your official typing result was what you type yourself as already to begin with?
Yeah, I was on the fence between observer and decider. That was the only coin where I was kind of like, I'm not too sure, but the double activated TE kind of makes sense as to why I would be on the fence about that aspect of it. So
So did you think you were like an IP or EJ?
I thought it was an IP. I thought it was an INFP.
Oh, I see, I see. But then I guess
Yeah.
you don't have people problems then. Your most problems were things.
Yeah. I guess my video, I complain about bulls a lot.
Sorry, what did you complain about?
Oh, bulls.
Oh, okay. What's that?
Oh no. So my mother-in-law tried to give me bulls, and we have way too many bulls. And then she like came and left them on my car.
What's
So
a
I
bulls?
just put them in my car, and I did not accept the bulls. Yeah.
What's a bulls? Like
A bowl, like a you eat out of it,
oh the
like
bowl. Oh the bowl. Okay.
salad.
Oh, I see. I was like, what? Is she talking about the
I'm
animal?
from the South.
Okay, got it. Got it.
Understand.
Now, obviously, because you are an EP, they saw that you were a double decider. So, can you talk about like what your life is like being a double decider? Like, you can see yourself and the tribe, and it's pretty balanced when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah, I think okay, so I've always said that one of my like skills like well okay, so in my family, I'm kind of like always play the role of the mediator.
Okay.
Like my mom will come to me and be like, your brother is killing me. Can you talk to him?" And I'll be like, "Okay." And so I kind of have to go in between and like translate and be the one that because I think they're all single deciders.
Oh, I see. I see. And then is you say your mom is like an EJ or IP, and then your brother
I
also.
think yeah, I think my mom and brother are IPs and I know my dad is an EJ.
Oh my God. So you're like the random, like single observer in the family then.
I think so. I think so. I've been watching them like crazy, but family's hard to nail down.
Do they talk more about people or is it things that they complain about? You know, because like that's like the biggest giveaway usually for people, you know.
Yeah, it's usually people.
Okay, okay. So they're probably yeah, you're probably right then. Um, so before the interview
It's usually
started, sorry?
it's usually each other.
Okay, oh yeah, they're complaining about each other. Okay. Well, I guess with family it's hard to nail down then. Because like oh. So before the interview started, like we were having like some issues with like the connection.
Yeah.
So let's just jump right in with like the demon SI for you. So talk about your feminine demon SI and you also have sleep blast. So that kind of makes it even harder for you. So have you had any tidal waves from that like feminine sleep SI function that's worth?
It sucks. It's a waste of space.
Yeah. But I mean like
Totally waste of fuck.
what like what's
No, I'm joking.
like what bad stuff has happened to you because of that, you know, like not using SI enough.
Oh my goodness. So I get these, I guess what you'd call tidal waves every once in a while where I just want to throw away everything that I own because it is the clutter and everything just kind of all gathers around and I don't know, I don't want to take care of it. I don't want to organize it. It's all just there. And so I just throw it all away. And that I go into this frenzy every once in a while where I just like grab the truck, let's throw everything in and let's just get rid of it. Um, Also, I'm very forgetful. I feel like I have a constant anxiety of wondering, what are you forgetting? What are you forgetting? There's something I know you're forgetting it. And so that's kind of like an undertone of my life consistently. I've always forgot my work assignments. I've always like, it's awful. It's so, I don't know where I put my phone or my keys. Everything gets lost. It's a mess.
That's funny. That's like my girlfriend's always losing her keys too. She has, I'm pretty sure she
Oh
has,
my God.
yeah, I think SI. Um, what do you do for work, by the way?
I am a marketing coordinator for some wineries in the Gatlinburg area. So, and I do some graphic design work and photography. I'm kind of like wear a lot of hats.
Okay, so that makes a lot of sense. Because you're double feminine, would you say you're really good with the visuals then? And like how to make something look pretty or look nice or appealing?
I hope so. That's what I get paid to do. So,
Yeah, yeah. I guess if you're getting paid to do it, obviously, like you're probably good at it because otherwise,
I think I'm pretty good. No,
yeah, otherwise you would be out of job then. um,
got them all fooled. No, I'm just joking.
yeah. Now you are sleep last. So have you had any issues with sleep last? Like what kind of problems have you had because of like that sleep last?
Hmm. Um, it's interesting because like, so I think getting overworked for the most part because I'm so go 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 and I take on too many projects and I'm like I can do that, I can do that, I can do that, I can do that, and then all of a sudden it starts piling up, and that plus I guess the demon SI where I can't really compartmentalize and I'm not really good at scheduling and all of that, so I take on all these projects and then I suddenly it comes crashing and it's just like I did not account for the fact that I have to rest at some point, and so
So how often does that crash happen then? Like when
mm,
you go crazy on like overdoing things?
very often. I would say once every like 6 months or so, like, and then I have to recoup and I have to like start saying no to things, and then I have to, and I get into a place where I'm like, oh, I've got extra time now, and then it kind of like snowballs again.
What does that like crash look like when it happens?
Oh God. Crying in the shower. I'm done with it all. I'm never
Yeah.
doing anything again. I'm gonna live like a hermit in the woods.
But then obviously you do it again like 6 months later. Like you forgot about it already.
Just forget.
I forgot about it. So feminine SI. That's funny. Um, so let's go to the complete opposite of that feminine SI. You have masculine NE. So what's your masculine NE like?
You know what? It's I think about it a lot now too, because you know your first savior function is always going to be the one where it's just like so natural that you don't even realize that you have it.
Yeah.
And so it's only been through talking with people that don't have it that I've realized, okay, I understand now kind of like how I'm different, because you just assume everything with when I started learning about oh people throw away information. What? They don't just keep it glued inside forever.
But are you?
Did we have a mess up again with the
Yeah, it's okay, no worries. But like,
sorry.
um, so I notice people with masculine NE, they seem to be very good at honing in that like pattern. Like this. I noticed that this is your pattern. Like you always do this. Is like what I always hear with people with like masculine NE. Like you always do this. Like so. Do you feel like you always see people doing like the same pattern?
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
like and then when people kind of like ask you, okay, how do you see it? It's kind of hard to explain, but like you just kind of like
Yes. And then I'm like, you're gonna do it again. I know you're gonna do it again. And they're like, no, I'm not. Trust me. And I'm like, okay.
and
And
then
then it happens.
and it happens again. Okay. It's crazy because like I'm pretty sure my girlfriend, she's sitting beside me right now actually. She's working, but like I'm pretty sure she has a masculine NE actually. And like sometimes it's spot on, but sometimes it's like not spot on. So I've actually seen like the like when it wasn't spot on and when it was spot on. Like my youngest sister I think also has masculine NE, and like I think the biggest thing I noticed was like they'll always say, "Oh, you always do this," or "We always do this," right? And then so one time, I mean, I have SI, but it's masculine, but it's still crap because it's fourth, right? But like one time, I actually practice it, right? I was like, okay. So one of the complaints I get is like we always like when we travel, we like to do like 1 day samplers of like cities instead of like staying in a city like longer.
Mhm.
And and then they're like, we always
Yeah.
do that. We always do that. So I took down every single day that we have traveled because I don't know how, but I remember every single day that we traveled, like the exact number of days we traveled to countries in the world that we've been to. And like, I tabulated, I'm like, okay, turns out we've only done it 5% of the time, you know? So we don't always do it. It's only 5% of the time, you know?
The
So,
math and everything. That's hilarious.
no, but it's because I have masculine SI, right? But like, with the masculine NE though, I noticed that you guys are like really good at picking up like behavioral patterns. So like, in a way, it's also good at like helping figure out what the other person's type is, because you're seeing that like pattern, that their behavioral pattern, right?
I've never even thought of it that way, but you might be right. I think another issue that comes into play as well is whenever you noticed one person on a path doing this pattern,
Yeah.
and then if another person, and I've made this mistake, another person kind of starts on that same path, you're like, I've seen this before and I know exactly what's going to happen, and you just kind of go like, "Ooh," and you don't give that other person the credit to like make their own decisions and be their own person, because I've done that before.
Um, you have double activated TE.
Yes.
So it's a demon, but it's double activated. Do you feel like you're pretty good at using TE then?
Um, yeah, I do actually. When I was trying to decide my own type, I was like banging my family members over the head, asking them questions, you know. And one thing that my brother said in particular about like my work style, because we work together sometimes, he said that I definitely know what I want, but I'm willing to compromise when I have to. And I think that that's kind of like a really perfect description of an FITE sort of double deciding thing. So I'm like, okay, I'll take that.
Yeah, and you also have double activated NT. So what's that double activated NT like for you?
I've been thinking about this a lot too, because you know, someone is just, I just am, you know, and so it's hard to break it apart and think about it. And so I don't know. I think one of the things that I really enjoy talking about a lot is sort of like the whys, the hows, the how does this work? Why does this work? And I think that that's a lot of like what I talk about as well, is I'm trying to sort of suss out, I like talking about philosophy and sort of like, are we in a simulation? You know, those sorts of like hypothetical situations and fun things like that. So that's mostly what I like to talk with other people about. So I would assume maybe that's NT play.
Do, do, do you think that people get caught off guard when you bring out that like NT play, and like you're really good at like logic and reasons, because like you come across very giggly and like happy-go-lucky, and then they're like, look, where did this like come from? You know, like, has that ever happened to you?
I get so pissed off when like people don't see that I'm logical because they do just see the like the facade. Like it's one of the things that actually pisses me off the most, and I'm like, I'll show you all. No.
Yeah, yeah, no, because I think it's crazy, because it clearly you know how to use it and it's there, but like I think because you're so playful and like giggly and like happy-go-lucky, that people might like overlook that the fact that, hey, you know what, you can do that if you wanted to. It's easy for you too, actually, because it's double activated. So
Yeah.
you're like almost like right in the middle of like your NF and NT is almost like like almost perfectly balanced, you know, because like one is double activated and then the NF's single activated, but it's masculine, right? So it's like, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, the F is masculine, so I think that's kind of what shines through for everyone most. But, I do think that I'm pretty logical, like with my job, especially, you know, being in marketing. It's not just the visuals, it's not just making things look pretty. It's also knowing how the other side works. You know, I handle all of the, you know, PPC, the ads, Google, Facebook, you know, trying to get into the mindset of the consumer, and, you know, all of that sort of the psychology stuff of it too is very interesting to me. And I think that's kind of where I find the most enjoyment in my job. So,
Oh, that's crazy. You're doing the Facebook pay-per-click marketing.
yeah.
You have double masculine consume. What's that like?
It's fun. Like I was telling someone, like for instance, when I'm trying to figure out, you know, what to eat, like if I want to cook something new, like my first instinct is to find 5 or 6 or 7 different recipes and then read them all and see where they differ. If someone is using, you know, this ingredient versus this ingredient, I'm like, ooh, what's the science behind that? And so then I dive in there and to determine which ingredient might be the better thing to do. And then I just like, it goes and goes and goes and goes and goes. until, you know, all of that's like an hour and a half, 2 hours in, and then I decide what to have for dinner. So it gets a little crazy sometimes, but
Well, that sounds like it's really good because you can deep dive really, really hard on like areas that you're really interested in, you know, and like really get.
yeah, it's my first instinct. When someone tells me something, I'm like at my computer, I'm like, let's look at this, like right now.
Like aggressively researching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I never realized I did it too until like started looking into this, and I was like, oh crap. I
Yeah.
do that a lot, don't I?
You have Blast Third. It's a demon, but do you feel like you can use it pretty good because it's combined with the play? Because it's like I heard that when play and blast are together, it's kind of like a little bit easier to use the demon, even though it's third. So do you still have
Yeah,
some blast?
I think so. I don't, it's not something that like I feel very confident in. Like I said before we started, I'm like, oh, I'm so nervous because it's too much me talking. It really like makes me weird. But I I think I took a speech class, I took a storytelling class, so I've kind of like practiced, and I used to do like theater stuff, so I've like been on stage a lot in my life, so I've had a lot of practice blasting. So
Your blast is double feminine too. So what's double feminine blast like for you?
I guess everybody's witnessing it right now, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess like the best way to describe it. I don't know. I don't know if I've seen you blast. I actually you did blast, but it's like very gentle. You know, like it almost doesn't feel like a blast because it's so gentle because it's like double feminine.
I'll sing you to sleep with my blast. Like, just like pat your head.
No, because like okay, you know when you watch like Dave's videos, right?
Uh-huh.
Like he's teaching all day, but it's very pleasant, right? Because it's like because he has double feminine blast also, right? So it's like it has a very pleasant feel to it, you know. So when like someone's double feminine and blast you, it has like a very I guess pleasant feel to it. Like I
Cool.
interviewed another ENFP like just a few days ago, my type twin actually, and he has double feminine play, and it's like oh yeah, it's very the play is very pleasant, you know. It's like the double feminine. So maybe when you blast, it doesn't
Put
come
that on my
across as
LinkedIn account.
that.
My play is very pleasant. I'm gonna put
Yeah,
it on my LinkedIn account.
no, but like no, but like so I feel like if you were to blast, no one would think that you're controlling them or like you're being too preachy or anything. It just like comes across as very pleasant, you know, because it's double feminine. That's what I think. I don't know if it's true or not, but yeah.
Well, I appreciate it. I
Yeah.
always tell people I look like a Hufflepuff. I'm a Slytherin that looks like a Hufflepuff.
You look like a Slytherin and a Hufflepuff. What?
No, I look like a Hufflepuff.
You look like a Hufflepuff. What does Hufflepuff look like?
Oh man, have you not seen Harry Potter?
I did.
Red Harry.
I don't remember what they look like though.
Oh no, like just very friendly, very like a pleasant disposition. But
Isn't that
I'll
like
get
is that a Hufflepuff? Is that Cedric guy who got
you.
killed?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I remember about the Hufflepuff. Is that
Of
like
the Hufflepuffs, he died.
yeah, that guy died. Like I just in the fourth book, right? In like the Goblet of Fire or something.
Yes,
Yeah, that was my favorite Harry Potter actually. The fourth book.
mine too.
Yeah, that's when it would be. That's when it became dark. You know, like it was like happy and friendly, and then suddenly boom, like this guy died. I'm like, what? Like,
Harry Potter, what are you doing? Yeah.
yeah. I was like, no, it was like, what the hell? It's like this is like a happy kids book, and then someone just got killed, and like, so I like that like that sudden like switch from like
I do too.
I guess like what do you call it, innocent childhood to like now this is reality. People die. And,
J.K. Rowling's like, you're an adult now.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. This is like a wake up call. Yeah, it was really a wake up call. That book was a wake up call. You have masculine FI. So like, how do you use your masculine FI, and how does it manifest in your life?
So yeah, that was another thing where I actually um because and I do like I'm very cautious with what I don't want to like hurt other people's feelings.
Yeah,
Oh, it says my internet connection is unstable. Are we good?
yeah, it's fixed now. So like,
Cool.
just repeat
Cool.
that.
Sorry, I thought I was Fe when I first got into OPS because I feel like I'm very friendly and I kind of have this bubbly persona, but I take care not to like hurt people's feelings. I very much value compassion and understanding and all of that stuff. So I just assumed, but when I started to learn a little bit more about how it actually is, you know. Something about me is like those values, I've had them for a long, long time, and I don't think anything would ever change any values that I have. It would be, it just wouldn't, you know.
What would you say is your top 5 values?
My top 5 values, you know, okay. So I would say definitely compassion. I'm gonna count now. Compassion and understanding, those are 2. Kindness and freedom. And that 5th one, man, don't you're making me narrow down. I resent you for it.
Of course, freedom's in the
And knowledge.
knowledge. Okay, got it.
Being informed, yes.
Yeah, forcing you to narrow down. Oh, but you know your values though, because like it was quick for you to like spell it out, right? These are my values,
Yeah.
like you're not copying someone else's value. These are your values. Because sometimes
Right.
I talk to people with extrovert feeling, and then their values is just probably stolen. I feel like they just stole it from like someone else, or
I read this once, yeah.
or that like their values is like a typical value like that like an EJ person would have, like community and like service, and like and I'm like family, I was like, okay, well, I guess an EJ would say that, and then like kind of like you would say freedom, right? Like freedom is number 1 for me too because I'm an EP, so like it makes sense.
Yeah.
So let's talk about freedom then. So as an EP, we are obsessed with freedom.
Yeah.
Talk about your obsession with freedom.
Okay, my obsession with freedom. Oh geez. So I'm always, if I'm making like good, like solid, like if I'm trying to think about my life, and I always want to have like a contingency or an escape route, right? So if I'm making a if I get a solid plan, I'm like, well, I can do this because if something happens, then I could just go that way. So that's kind of how I think about the future. Because we're talking about selling our house now, and I'm just like, well, if this doesn't work out, well, then maybe we can go live by the beach someday, or it's just, I always kind of like try to, or we can always rent this out, or I always try to think of like different ways that we can still not be tied into one decision. Another thing is like the job I left a job that was going to be very restrictive, and literally they would tell me that the picture I did, it was the same picture, same kind of design I'd have to do over and over and over again, and like you had to scoot the nose over to the millimeter, and it was just like, it was so, I just had to leave. I couldn't do it. The pay was good, the security was good, I couldn't do it. And so I just kind of jumped out of that, and I just talked my way into this winery job because they would offer me, like you can have flexible hours and all this stuff. And so I was like, yes, this is my job now, I'm taking this one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think in a lot of the decisions that I make, a freedom is, and then, when it comes to like politics and my stances with those sorts of things as well, I always kind of tend to vote on the side of whatever is freedom. let people be, just let people be.
Now, you mentioned that you always make sure there's like an escape plan or like an escape hatch, I guess.
Yeah.
Have you ever done anything in your life where you were all in, like 2 feet in, no escape plan, 100% committed to it? Like, have you ever gotten to that point? Like, have you ever done that?
Yeah. I am married and I have a child. Those are 2 things where, for the most part, you kind of are all in.
Yeah. So fair enough. That's good. What type's your husband, would you guess?
Oh man. Okay. So I assumed that he was, and I thought he was an ENTP for a long time.
Yeah.
He is like if you were to meet him, you would think, yes, this is all the stereotypes of ENTP, all condensed down into one, diluted into one human being.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm questioning it now. When I talked to Shannon, she was like, have you ever considered he might be an IJ? And I was like, oh, no. And so now I'm like, is he? And I'm analyzing him right now currently.
Well, yeah, because usually EPs date IJs, right? So like,
that's probably why she was like, saw the pattern. And
did you like date like IJs when you were younger? like INTJs or INFJs? Like that's like a stereotype, right? Like ENFPs end up with like INTJs and
right. If he was an IJ, he would be an INTJ. But I don't know. I didn't really date a lot. I was pretty picky. That was one of those things where I didn't want to get like locked in.
Yeah. Oh, I see. I see.
I saw like one little flaw, I'd be like, nope.
Yeah.
I dated this one guy and he was like super religious. And I remember he was like, I had a dream and it was God and he spoke to me and God told me we were supposed to get married or some shit. And I was just like, nope, I'm out of here.
That's your escape plan now. You're like, that's that. You said the red flag.
It's too much.
And lock you in. So, um, what about your kid? Do you have a son or daughter?
I have a son. His name is Jude. Um, like the Beatles song. He's just a year old, so
I guess you can't tell his type then.
I can't yet. I saw on the group somebody was like, "When can you tell?" And a lot of people were like, "I can tell at a year old," and I'm like, "I don't know how." He's not even talking.
Does he look more like you or your husband?
He looks like my father, and I'm like, "You had no part in this, sir."
Oh my God! So is your dad's an IP, right? You said.
I think he's an EJ.
Oh, he's an EJ. So yeah, okay, you might have an EJ son then.
Oh my gosh, I don't know how we deal with that. No.
Well, in a way, EJ's like sons are maybe easier because they're like always trying to please you. So like you can, so they'll be better for like doing like chores and stuff and like, you know,
Now that you mention it.
yeah, like they can take care of your SI for you, so you don't have to do that for you. Like. I think that the only thing bad with EJ then is I guess they would be more like needy then, I guess, because they would like need more of your validation or like your time. Yeah. So
Good luck. I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
what's
I'm
that?
actually really like awkward at like giving compliments or reassurance and all of that stuff. I'm really weird about it. Like,
What do you mean you're weird about like giving?
it's really hard for me to do. It never comes across as like as genuine as I want it to come across. Like if I feel something, I am want to express it. I don't It's very weird for me. It's weird right now just talking about it.
So like, no, I get what you're saying. Like, it's like show like doing the appropriate emotion for the right moment is like difficult, because like.
Yeah, I don't want to give it away. I don't want to get mushy or anything in here. That's the worst thing.
Well, you also have masculine FI too, right? It's like it's
Yeah.
not masculine FI is not mushy, it's like intense, So it's like yeah, and I guess it's almost like a contradiction because you have like feminine TE, so it's like in the tribe you seem kind of like bubbly, high energy, like but then
Yeah.
inside you're not, you're like tough, right? So it's like so it's like yeah, so like you can't give like a mushy kind of like soft vulnerable feeling kind of like like if it's coming from inside it's gonna be something else. I don't know, like
I'll tell you when I'm mad.
what's
I'll tell you when I'm mad.
well maybe that's why it's easier because it's like intense, right? So like
That's true.
so when you're angry it's like it's easy, but when it's like mushy it's like what I don't know what to do with this.
That's exactly right. That's accurate.
Yeah. You're because you're double feminine, you are a tester, so talk about being a tester. Do you like to experiment with different stuff and like try different stuff?
My brother would just walk past. But yeah, I do. One of the things, like I want to, if I'm like in a store, I have to touch all the soft looking fabrics, or I want to taste all the food. I want to like smell every candle. If someone's like telling me about something or I'm watching something, I'm like, okay, I get antsy to just do it. So
Like sample it,
I think
try it out.
that lines up.
Yeah, I noticed with my girlfriend, I think she's feminine masculine, and so she's like visual and tester, and she's always like experimenting, trying different stuff, and I'm like, interesting, like because like I don't have that like pull to do that, right? Because I don't have any tester on me, so I'm like,
Really?
yeah, like I don't care, but like but if she wants to do it, it's cool because she's a tester, right? So so
Huh.
I noticed that with like double feminines, or like they're like, yeah, let's go try different food, let's go try this restaurant, or let's go try this, like let's try different food in this restaurant. I'm like, okay, you do that, and I'm gonna go order the same thing that I've ordered like a billion times already before. Oh, camera's frozen again. Well, let's give it some time then.
I like to make everybody order different things so we can all try off each other's plates.
Yeah, I noticed that just do that. Like, hey, let's go order all different stuff and let's go sample each other's food. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever, you know. I'm not really like satisfied just ordering the same stuff over and over again because I already know this tastes good. But like, hey, you know what? If you want to do that, that's fine. I'm cool with it. You know. Do you find yourself having an easier time interacting with people that are like masculine with the tribe, or like double masculine, or like feminine masculine? Like, what's your experience with that?
I think probably like people who are too like pushy, like I kind of automatically bristle. Um, I guess it's that "don't control me, bro" thing. But for the most part, I feel like I get along with most people. Like, I don't think there's a certain type of person where I'm just like, I don't like you. I don't like your type.
I mean,
maybe
like,
that's the double deciding, I suppose.
no, like what I was like asking more was like, okay, I'll give you an example. So like for me, I notice when I talk to people who are double masculine or feminine masculine, I tend to get along with them easier than like, or it's easier.
Okay.
It's not get along. Sorry, it's easier for me to talk to them than to talk to someone that's double feminine or masculine feminine. Because when I'm talking to someone that's masculine feminine or double feminine, like we're both feminine with a tribe, right? So we're both like cautious, like kind of like kind of like tippy-toeing with the other person.
Okay.
But like when you're talking to someone that's like masculine with tribe, they're like more aggressive with you, right? So it's
yes.
like,
Okay.
so in a way, it's like you don't. It's like easy. It's easier to talk to them because like you're not both tippy-toeing around each other. It's kind of like one person's like, you know, one person aggressively pushing you, and you're kind of just like flowing with what they're like, their aggression, and it's like it just like fits. I don't know if that makes sense, but like
Actually, no, it makes perfect sense. I know exactly what you're saying now. I'm like thinking on like experiences that I've had with certain people, like the people who are like too nice. I'm like, stop bullshitting me. Just like, just tell me how it is. So yeah, I totally get it.
yeah, because like I feel like you know like you're double feminine, I'm masculine feminine, right? So like I always feel like I can't just like push you around, like I can't like tell you what to do, you know, like it's like there's like something stopping me from doing it. Like I just want to tippy toe around people. Like I don't
Yeah.
know, it's weird, but like when I'm talking to someone that's like really punchy, it's like it's easier for, it's like I feel like it's easier for me to talk to them because when they're punching me, it breaks through that like feminine extrovert thinking kind of like outer, and it hits me in the masculine FI. And the moment it hits me in
You
masculine
can
FI,
punch back.
yeah, then I can punch back.
Yes, I know
Yeah,
exactly what you're saying.
yeah, you get what I'm saying? Like so because they like when you're talking to someone that's like, you know, double feminine or masculine feminine, you can't punch back because the person's nice, right? So it's like,
I know exactly what you're saying right now. Yes.
so it's like you almost don't feel fulfilled. Like it's like a weird feeling. Like you almost want someone to punch you, like not physically, but like, you know, like you know, verbally or emotionally. Like it's just so that it hits you in the masculine core, and then
Yep.
then you can shove back, and then like it feels good, you know.
Oh, yes, I know exactly what you're saying. In fact, like I remember in a friend group, someone was like, I don't like this guy. They seem mean. And I'm like, I love that he's mean. I was like, because I can be mean back. And it's fantastic.
Yeah. You get it. Yeah.
Yes.
Like you have like this inkling, like you have like this need that like you want to be aggressive too, but you can't because it's like it's like constrained almost, you know. Like
Yes. Oh, you're speaking my language right now.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you get it. Yeah, because we have that in common. So like I've always like found it weird. Like I've always gravitated people who are like really aggressive. Like my girlfriend's feminine masculine, right? So she gets quite punchy with that like masculine T. It's a demon though, but like
Yeah.
but like, you know, even my friends, I have like a lot of double masculine friends, right? And they're like really like aggressive, you know. And then for me, it's fine, you know. Like people say, oh, this person's too mean or too aggressive. I'm like, oh, I actually it's fine. Like, it doesn't bother
Yeah,
me.
exactly. No, because I don't get offended that easily
Yeah.
as well. So it's like, I love that opportunity to just, yeah, no. So I get you. That's 100% true.
I don't know if you notice it too, but like when you deal with those people who are like double masculine and you punch them back, like they can handle it too, or like they get taken aback too or something sometimes, you know.
Fun. And then it's just back and forth. And then you're just shitting on each other like the whole day. And it's just a battle of wits. And it's fantastic.
Yeah, and I think that like for me, like the most interesting thing I noticed was like like I don't know if you've dealt with like double masculine people, but like if you make fun of them, they melt, you know, like they get to the double feminine side. I don't know if you've seen it, you know, they just like melt. Like they have this like super tough exterior and you make fun of them and they just like absolutely melt and they love being made fun of. You're like, I don't know if you've seen that.
No, I've seen it. I always, like, when I was in high school and stuff, I always actually had like more, I like to be one of the guys. I like to hang out with guys because I did feel like that sort of like, I loved that. Yeah, totally get you.
Yeah. So I don't know what else we haven't covered yet. We covered visual already because you do photography and like all this marketing stuff. And we talked about masculine T a lot already, masculine FI. I don't know if I feel like we're missing something. Like it's bothering me. There's something we're missing. Okay. I remember now. I know. So they said that people who are double deciders have problems with fear, while people who are double observers have problems with pain. And I work in the fitness industry, and I've actually seen this a lot. Like a lot of people who are like EJs or IPs, like they're trying to avoid some sort of pain, whether that be emotional pain or physical pain, but they're avoiding pain. And that always kind of confused me because like I remember I had a friend in high school who he didn't want to work out because he said he would feel sore afterwards. And I was like, why is being sore a problem? You know, like isn't being sore after a workout a good thing? Like, don't you feel good because like you had like you had a good workout?
Right.
And this kept happening because I work in fitness. And I'm like, why are people who are EJs or IPs? They're like I had an IP client who's like, oh, don't work me too hard with legs today. I don't want to walk funny the next day. You know, I don't want to be that sore. I'm like, why is that a problem? Isn't that like a good thing? But then I noticed that like for me personally, like I'm always like I'm a very fearful person, and like I noticed with IJs or other EPs, they're also very fearful too. There's always something that's freaking them out. So would you say that in your life that you have problems with fear, and like can you talk about like the fear that you have problems with? So usually the fear stems from that SI, like someone controlling you. So like talk about that.
Well, I stopped watching the news because I don't want to be controlled by the narrative. And my husband says that's how you are uninformed, but I feel like I can still be informed without like being addicted to the news, you know? Or having them or watching it enough for it to get in my brain. So maybe that's one thing. And I've noticed that after I stopped consuming the news so much that I just have less anxiety. So that might be part of it. I'm like, I will handle my little corner of the world. So I think that's one thing.
Well, besides the news, is there anything else? Like I'll give you an example. So I travel a lot and I collect countries. That's my thing. That's what I gather. I gather countries, right? So I've been to 89 countries around the world now. So one of the things that freaks me out is like if I go to a country that's sketchy, the immigration officer will try to extort a bribe from me. And if they don't if I don't pay the bribe, they're not gonna let me through the country, or they're not gonna let me through immigration. So that's like one of my like randomest like fear, you know, like.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Like, so is there anything like that, like in your life where like you're afraid that someone's gonna control you or they have control over you?
Yes. It's when I am doing work for, someone else. I'm always afraid that, and I don't know if this is like a control thing so much, but this is sort of like a fear thing, I suppose, or an anxiety, is that I'm always afraid that it's not going to be good enough. That is one thing. And I had it linked up with what you were saying in my head, but as I try to say it out loud, it doesn't really like come across the way I want it to. So
It's okay. I get it. Try your best. Try your best.
yeah. So, because I know, like, I never present something unless I think that it's like my best. But if that person, says that it's not, then I'm having to change my standards or maybe alter something that I was proud of and that I think is the best choice in order to fit what they want. And that bothers me.
Gotcha. We're going to wrap up the interview pretty soon. So I have two last questions for you, and then we'll.
Oh,
yeah. The first one is, what would you what advice can you give to other people who have feminine SI and how they can work on improving that feminine SI? What have you done in your life personally to work on that feminine SI and like improve on it so that you don't get as much tidal waves from it?
It's the little things that I try to do. I have a system set up at work where every day I check one list and I have it arranged by due date and priority. And that kind of keeps my mind settled. If I were speaking to younger me, I would say always answer the phone. Yes, it might be a bill collector, but just take care of the bill. Just do it. Please don't let it go to collections. I would say, just it's the little things every day, clean as you cook, it's all of the things that my dad would always tell me to do that I never listened to. And now I am listening.
Do you, did you have trouble with like credit cards and stuff when you were younger or something?
Not credit cards. No, I had a major medical issue when I was younger. And I was waiting tables at the time and I couldn't afford to pay it. And so I just pretended it didn't exist.
Oh no. Man, you guys in the US have like the worst like medical care system. Like so expensive there, right?
Yeah. And I almost went blind. It was to protect my eyesight.
Oh my God, that's horrible.
Yeah.
Did you get that to resolve then, or is that still there?
Okay, I finally got it paid off. I'm so happy, but just a couple months ago. But yeah, it's all good now. It's not perfect, but I can see.
Okay, good. And then do you have any questions about like opposite sexual modalities that you might not have? So for example, I have feminine NE and I have masculine SI. So do you have any questions about about what's the difference between that and what you have?
I am interested in it's one thing that I wonder a lot is the core difference between masculine and feminine NE. Because I get asked a lot, like, what's the masculine NE look like? And I'm like, look at me, I guess,
Yeah. I don't know, like the stuff that you were describing earlier with like your masculine NE, like I do a lot of that stuff too, because I do have NE also, but like, and it's still like, obviously it's my first function, so it's going to be like still pretty good. But I always forget the concepts I've learned. Like if like I read a book, like a few days later, I've already forgotten the concepts I've learned, you know? Oh, the camera looks like it's like dying off. Let's wait for a few seconds for it to get fixed. Ah, man.
Sorry.
Okay, there we go. It's back again. But yeah, like every time I read a book or like
living out here is like
yeah. But I can remember like the sense details really clearly though, like the SI, like I know the step 1, the step 2, the step 3, the step 4. Like I have it all memorized. Like I just know all this like small details. I can remember numbers. Like I'm very good at remembering numbers. Like I know when my credit card bill is due. Like I just know like all these numbers. I don't forget the number.
wow.
Like it's just really good. And like when I work in my fitness when I work with my clients in when I do personal training, I have a clear track record of like how many reps they did, like how many sets they've done, like how much weight they've lost, like the measurements of their like body parts, like chest, waistline, whatever. So like I have to distill it to SI, otherwise I will forget that. So that's like the best way to describe it, because like the NE itself, it's good. I can pick up things and I can understand really quickly, but then I'll forget. And then like when I read a book again, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this now. How did I forget this? This is like so important, So it's kind of annoying, but that's the biggest one. Like this last few days, like my friends was.
Funny.
What's that?
Oh, I just said that's funny. It's like I'm flipped completely.
So you can remember concepts that you've learned, like it's no problem, but then you forget numbers and the key details.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So so I guess that's the biggest difference between us. Then is like, yeah, all the concepts, you remember it clearly in your head, and I'm like, I wish I remember it because it's so important, but like it's gone. It's long gone. And
Oh
it's
yeah, no, I'll be thinking about the concepts from a book. Like I'll be like driving down the road and I'll look at a tree and I'll be like, oh, that reminds me of the thing. And then it like, it just kind of goes. But yeah, that's fun.
yeah. That doesn't happen to me. Like I don't look at the trees or like I'm driving. I don't remember the concept. It's gone. It's long gone. Like the only way I can remember concept is like if I read it again and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this. Why did I forget this? You know, and it's so annoying. So all
Oh
right.
yeah,
So,
I can give you the gist of something like nobody's business, but I
yeah.
can't like give you the exact.
Um, all right, Stacy. Thanks for doing the interview today. And we'll
Cool.
wrap this up right now. So bye everyone, and I'll say bye to Stacy, and I'm gonna hit the stop button and.